It's time to focus on the things you need, the things you deserve. You deserve a healthy body. Supplements that get you moving and keep you moving. That make you feel good, look good, do good. And they shouldn't contain GMOs, artificial ingredients, or heavy metals, ever. Supplements that are clinically studied, use proven absorption technologies, are designed by scientists, and are ethically sourced and produced. Supplements with everything you need, nothing you don't. You deserve a company that you can trust, that's dedicated to safe manufacturing practices and third-party testing, that ensures the highest quality of effectiveness from extraction of ingredients all the way to the composition of the packaging. Wait a second. You deserve to see the process. You deserve a company led by a CEO with a deep belief in the power of people, dedicated to inspiring entrepreneurs to achieve success. A company with a phytonutrient chemist and expert on natural molecules who is obsessed with human health and has your best interest in mind to design its products. A board comprised of talented doctors from around the world. You deserve to be surrounded by people you trust and look up to. Empowered ambassadors that inspire wellness every day. Leaders who are rooting for you to be the best version of yourself. A community that works hard and plays hard. You deserve to experience adventures that take you around the world, and you deserve to be recognized for your hard work. It's time to get what you deserve. It's time to shift your focus. 3.
Well, hello and welcome, my friends. Good morning, good evening from wherever you are tuning in from. My name is Adrainne Ruiz. I am from Austin, Texas, and I will be your host tonight on this amazing Wellness Wednesday we have for you. My goodness, we have a lineup. So we are going to go through a lot of incredible information. We've got not just one, but 2 doctors on tonight. So wait till the very end. We have a health coach, we have a chef, so many people who are experiencing phenomenal results with our products that you just saw in that incredible opening video. So a little bit about myself real quickly. My background is in personal training and health and wellness for over 2 decades now. It's what I love. I just want people to be happier and healthier. And I found Three a little over a year and a half ago now. And I'm so grateful that I said yes to this opportunity and yes to these products. And I trust that you guys are going to get incredible information tonight. If you're one of those people who wants to be happier and healthier too, or you know people that do, you are in the right place. We do have 6 incredible products. What sets us apart is the fact that our delivery systems allow absorption into your body up to 3 times and to 9.5 times higher than the average supplement. So I'm all about providing value, right? We want things that actually absorb and nothing that doesn't, right? We want good, amazing quality products, and that's what we have to offer you tonight. Now, we have an incredible new product that we are going to be talking with you tonight. So pull out a pen, a piece of paper, get ready to take some notes, because I'm about to introduce you to one of my dear friends, Dr. Valerie Yerger. And since 1992, Dr. Yerger has been a licensed naturopathic doctor. So clinically trained at Bastyr University in Seattle, Washington. She was the first licensed non-nurse midwife in the state of California. I think that's so cool. And she is a professor in health policy at the University of California, San Francisco, where during the past 25 years, she has been conducting research and advocacy work focused on framing the disproportionate burden of tobacco among marginalized communities as a social injustice. I believe she actually was asked to speak at the White House about this. Phenomenal. She is a certified emotional brain training coach, that's EBT training coach, an innovative brain-based approach for addressing stress overload and equipping people with the skills to protect themselves from the harms of cortisol and other stress hormones. So you guys are in for a treat tonight. She is the proud mother of 4 beautiful children and a nanny to 5 grandkids. So please help me welcome our incredible Dr. Valerie Yerger. How are you, Dr. Val?
Hi, Adrainne. I am so excited that I get to share this incredible work, but I'm so pumped because I am so happy to have this opportunity to know the products, to have you as my support along with others, including Beata and Larnetta, who are on giving testimonies tonight. So happy to be here.
I love it. Thank you so much. I mean, you're a busy lady, and I love that when I emailed you, you're like, no, I'm ready to go. Let's do this. And you're always finding a way to support others and give back. And you have this incredible background and knowledge and, really stress response in the body, stress overload in the body. So I would love to hear just why you said yes to three, first and foremost, and like what happened when you got started on that. And then I know you have some incredible slides to share with us tonight, but first and foremost, let's just dive into like why three, Dr. Yerger?
Um, well, I have been planning on retiring for quite a while. I've been fortunate enough to have a pension, but let me tell you, in today's market, it's not going to be enough for me to sustain. So I've always been looking for a way of being able to sustain my income. That was number one. But I also knew, because I've been in this industry for quite a while, that I needed to be with a company that I could trust, that had products that actually gave me the results that they said that they would give me. And I just knew that I couldn't do this alone. So there had to be a support team. There had to be like-minded people on this journey with me. But so it was because of the products, because of the opportunity, and because this is a lifestyle that I want to sustain post-retirement.
Absolutely. I love that you're so transparent about that. I think it's important. Yeah. I mean, every doctor is helping people, but a lot of doctors do have that entrepreneurial spirit where they're like, look, I am in this to help people, but also to earn income. And really being an entrepreneur is solving problems for a profit anyways. And so the fact that you see the value in what we're doing here from a business perspective is just more, it brings me more confidence in what we're doing here, And so I appreciate you saying so and being vulnerable enough to say so because you're inspiring a lot of probably medical professionals who are tuning in right now to say, you're right. If I don't show up to work today, if these hands don't come in or this brain doesn't come in, I mean, it's like, so it's important to be able to have those backup plans and MSI, right? Multiple streams of income. So I'm
Well,
happy to,
can I add something else too? Because I'm not
yeah.
going to talk about this during my presentation, but you mentioned that the work that I am doing currently for the almost 30 years is really focused on social inequities and disproportionate harm done to people by various modes of industry products, if you will. So trying to deal with the social and economic inequities has been very, very important to me. And if we're going to have health equity, we have to have economic equity. So another part that drives me is being able to have something that is easily transferable to others and can be duplicated by others so that they too can have a source of income coming in to their households.
So true. Absolutely. Yeah. And economic wise, I mean, we're all, hearing this going, yeah, this makes sense for where we're at in this day and age and for such a time as this. So I appreciate you saying so. Yeah, well, I'm excited to learn more about, Visage, our newest product, as well as I know you have a beautiful presentation for us tonight. I'd love to dive in.
Yeah, so what I'm going to be focusing on, I'll talk about Visage towards the end, but it's really the behind the scenes of why we need a product like Visage. And I figured, because this is part of my work and I know who's talking about this, that if you guys didn't hear it from me, you're not likely to hear it from a heck of a lot of people. So it is an area of expertise that I've been developing at the University of California at San Francisco. So let me just get into it, and I'll be here to sort of tie things together for you all. I have appropriately called this enhancing our sense of well-being and to understand the neuroscience behind why we need a product like Visage and why it works. So when we talk about our sense of well-being, we have to look at the fact that we are, and not just some of us, but all of us have some increased level of stress globally. And this is a slide that shows actually some research that shows how much our stress level has increased since the pandemic. So you see the two charts here in blue and in orange. The blue represent what has been reported by age group prior to the pandemic and then afterwards. And you can see the amount of stress that has increased for people as they reported post-pandemic. And it didn't just go away. It is still something that we're dealing with today. And that, stress is coming to us from all directions, right? And it doesn't matter if we're just dealing with health issues or systemic racism, but we think about our family members who are looking at trying to protect themselves against a hurricane that's coming into Florida. There are constant environmental threats as well, financial instability, as we mentioned earlier, in food insecurity. And so these threats unfortunately don't easily go away, and it's something that we're constantly dealing with. And so for those of us who feel like, hey, you know what, I've got my stress under control, I'm not really dealing with a lot of stress, I want to suggest that to take another assessment of that. And this is something that I like to share to help people understand that they may not understand fully the effects of stress in their lives. If we look at this boiling frog syndrome as an example, it shows that if you take a frog and you put the frog in the bottom here, as you see, into a pot of water and you slowly heat it up, the frog will eventually boil to death. And this is a sense of the accumulation of stress over time. If you take a frog and you put the frog into a pot of boiling water, it knows immediately that there's a problem and it will try to jump out of it. And so as humans, we naturally adapt to our stress, similar to the frog who is placed into the pot of water where you slowly warm it up and heat it to boiling. And this is really unfortunate for us because stress is having an effect on our bodies when we don't necessarily know it. So the question comes, how are we actually coping with our stress? And we do that in various ways. We overeat. And I know that I'm one for eating. And when we overeat, what are we eating? We're not eating vegetables. We're eating foods that we shouldn't eat. And I'm going to talk a little bit about the harms that we do when we eat under stress and the ways that our three products really help us to abate this. But whether we eat, we gamble, we smoke, we're doing something to deal with our stress. And when it comes to our young folks, they're spending a heck of a lot of time on social media. This has been shown in research to be affecting their mental well-being as well. And I show this particular picture because I know when I look at my grandchildren and I've caught them at midnight when I thought they were sleeping and they were in the room, they don't turn the light on. They're on their phone. So that's not really good, healthy behavior for our eyes, and we shouldn't read. I remember my mom saying you don't read in the dark. So when we have accumulation of stress hormones over time, it leads to 80% of our chronic diseases. And so dealing with stress is highly underrated, especially with our doctors who are so focused on dealing with the symptoms that we might present instead of looking at the underlying causes of why we're having the symptoms that we're having. And I'm not going to go into all of this because I know that everyone who's here understands that stress harms us. And again, representing up to 80% of our chronic diseases, especially if we're having long-term activation of our stress hormones. So I wanted to also mention telomeres, as this is something that we're talking more about. And I know at the University of California at San Francisco and other places, we're doing more studies on this. But a lot of people don't know what telomeres are, and they don't understand the effects of chronic stress on the telomeres. But the telomeres are the stabilizing caps on the ends of our chromosomes. And so there's a certain amount of shortening of these caps that is natural. But if we're under chronic stress over a long period of time, these caps actually shorten faster. And there's research to show that there is a direct relationship between exposure to chronic stress and the shortening of these telomeres, the caps. And if you want to think about it, the caps, think about them like you do the old-fashioned shoelaces with the plastic ends. So I know what it's like to have shoelaces that sort of they come undone at the end. They're very, very difficult to use. And as this is a visual, unfortunately, when this happens to the telomeres, we're losing materials, genetic material that we need for sustainability of our lives. So the circuits in our brain actually control our stress. And I wanted to right now go into how important it is for us to understand the role of the brain. So we've learned in neuroscience over the last couple of decades that stress is controlled by brain circuits. And these circuits are strings of neurons that get automatically activated when we feel threatened. And it doesn't even matter to the brain if the threat is real or it's perceived. So most circuits are encoded by the time we're 3 years old. And what that means is that these old circuits get activated when we get stressed. And so understanding this is a big part of being able to deal with it. So we have to, when we are in a stressful mode, just assess, is this a true threat or is it something that is inaccurate? Am I actually predicting a real or a situation that's not so real? So we were created to make sure that we were able to get out of threatful situations. Our biology and everything else dealing with how we respond to stress has not changed evolutionarily. So we're not dealing with the tigers. So we are actually having responses and to a stressful situation that if we stop a minute and we assess it, it's not as big a threat as our brain may perceive us. But unfortunately, once our brain perceives a threat, it will trigger an immediate cascade of molecules in our brain, which then turn into behaviors. And these behaviors, again, are meant to keep us alive. But if we are under constant stress all the time and there's no need for these behaviors, the stress hormones, including cortisol in particular, has detrimental effects on just about every single tissue, every single organ in our body. And this is just a schematic to show that once the threat is perceived by the brain, it starts this whole cascade of processes that then result in the cortisol here being released. And unfortunately, this is something that goes on. So I'm going to spend a couple of minutes talking about the brain states. This has been one of the most practical pieces of information for me in my own personal life, is understanding that when it comes to the brain responding to stress, there are 5 different stress levels. And sometimes we just call them brain states. And I want to take a few minutes to introduce you to these brain states. Essentially, there are 5 states that are responsive to the level of cortisol. So when someone is in brain state 1, we're feeling great. And, Adrainne, you talked about Visage and how that makes you feel great. I've been using Visage since August. I got it the day it became available at our convention in Salt Lake City. And it was immediate that I started to feel great. And so to me, as somebody who understands brain states, I know that I am secreting feel-good hormones. And so brain state 1 is you're feeling great, you're secreting the feel-good hormones. Brain state 2 is you're feeling good. The difference between brain state 1 and brain state 2 is that you're not secreting feel-good hormones. I mean, nobody's going around secreting hormones 24/7, but to be able to feel good, we're not secreting cortisol, we're not doing any harm to our bodies. And so within the brain states 1 and 2, we call this being in homeostasis because we're not secreting the stress hormones. Now, when you start to feel a little stress, you start to move into a brain state 3. A brain state 3 is the start of what we call allostasis. Allostatic load is what I'm sure a number of you have heard about. That refers to the level of stress hormones. You're getting into a place where you're starting to secrete stress hormones. And for me, being in a brain state 3 means that something is kind of bugging me, but I can't put my finger on it. It might be I'm driving in the car and there's the radio's on, and I didn't even pay attention that the radio is on, but it's kind of bugging me. This brain state 3 is the stress is related to you where you can't really identify. You got to kind of figure out what's kind of bugging you. That's a brain state 3. When you go into a brain state 4, you're definitely stressed. You know what is stressing you out. You know who did what to you, who said what to you. It's very clear why you're stressed out. And it may ask you at that particular time to assess, is this accurate or are you overreacting to the amount of stress? That is a brain state 4. When you go into a brain state 5, you are definitely stressed out. Unfortunately, most of us who are living in today's times, we are either in a brain state 4 or a brain state 5. A brain state 4 is very valuable for us in terms of being able to deal with these circuits. That's not what this talk is about. But if you are aware of brain plasticity, it is at a brain state 4 that you can do that work. A brain state 5, you're totally stressed out. You don't want anybody saying to you, you know what? I think you should slow down. I think you should take a breath. You don't do that with somebody who's in a brain state 5. There are other ways of doing it, but you can recognize as you're working with yourself, you'll be able to recognize the various brain states in other people, and how you respond to them will be very different based on their brain state. So I might not suggest to somebody in a brain state 5 that they slow it down and take a breath. I might do something like try to make eye contact and then take a breath myself, as a way of being able to get them to align with my breathing. And just doing that can get somebody out of a brain state 5 into a brain state 4, where you can then start to walk them through and talk to them and help them do their breathing. So brain state 1 and brain state 2 are our thinking brains. This is a place that you want to be at when you're needing to communicate, needing to create, needing to collaborate. This is where we hang out and we have fun with each other. When you start moving into the other brain states, the emotional brain has actually taken over, and you know that we're different when we're in stress mode. And you know that this is actually a place where you might be thinking fight, flight. You're absolutely right, because this is where the brain is helping you to prepare to either fight or to flee from the threat. Most of us do not need to be in this place because we're not dealing with the need to actually fight or flee. But unfortunately, because of the stress amount that we're having, this is where we're hanging out at. So I wanted to just take a couple of minutes to just give you another example of how the brain is using this file cabinet as an example. So imagine that the file cabinet is like the brain, and each drawer represents a different level of stress, where circuits that were coded in that stress level are actually stored. Remember, I told you the brain circuits are pretty much laid down by the time we're 3. And the only other time we create additional circuits is when we're under extreme stress. So fortunately, that doesn't happen all the time. So what happens when we trigger a brain circuit, where it's like we're opening up the drawers of this cabinet, and we are finding that the memories that are associated with that particular brain state are all of a sudden, they're like we're remembering something that happened 20 years ago. So memories that got encoded at the very low stress level are in brain state, or in this drawer number 1, brain state 1, and that low stress is in the second drawer, moderate stress, and so on and so on. So that's one of the reasons why when we trigger these circuits and these particular brain states, we're dealing more than what is actually happening in the moment. We're dealing with these circuits just being automatically discharged. So the brain will automatically put a different area of the brain in charge depending on the stress level. So again, if we're in brain state 1, we're in our prefrontal neocortex, that's our thinking brain. When we are in brain state 2, the neocortex and the limbic brain are in charge of how it is that we respond. These are the areas of the brain that are actually controlling behaviors. And so if you are dealing with addictive behaviors such as smoking, gambling, eating, you're more than likely in a brain state 3, 4, or 5. And it's at a brain state 3 or 4 that we can easily get out of these brain states and move up to a brain state 1 and 2. The brain state 5, which is the reptilian brain, is a little bit more difficult to work with. That's when you're extremely stressed out in fight flight mode. But this happens for everybody. It is automatic and it's unconscious. And I just want to also remind everyone that when these particular brain states get triggered, what goes with them are our healthy or unhealthy responses as well, as is shown here. So imagine a product that can support the health of feel-good hormones and enhances an overall sense of well-being. And this is where the beauty of Visage comes in. I am totally, I just love this. I can't even, I was taught that the Tao that can be spoken is not the Tao. I don't have words for it. I can tell you that when I started this product, the next day I left Salt Lake City, went to the airport, and I was having all kinds of interactions with people that I don't normally have. And I thought, is this like a coincidence or what? I have traveled 4 times and I now play around. Let me see if the flight attendant will look at me and respond to me a certain way. Granted, I know that I'm showing up differently, but it has been fun playing the game. I also started exercising. And so those of you who are close to me know that I've been getting on my elliptical. I missed last week because I was traveling for a wedding, but I have been trying to be consistent with my exercising for 4 years. And I don't like to acknowledge that to folks, but that is the truth. And since starting with the Visage, I've had an incredible amount of energy. I've had an incredible amount of going to bed earlier, waking up much more refreshed. And I love this product. And there are the other products that we have. We can talk about those. We'll hear about some of the other testimonials for Visage. But I want to just say, when we're eating under stress, we're not digesting our food. Digestion is not a priority system for the body. And so as we're working on our stress, as we're trying to change our behaviors, it's important for us to understand how important these other products are for helping us to enhance our overall well-being. Revive is great. It is supporting our healthy response to inflammation. Purify is great for dealing with the toxins that build up as a result of the whole process of dealing with the stress. They're byproducts from the production of stress hormones. And I can just go on and on about it, but I don't want to take over too much time. And Adrainne, I'm going to give it back to you.
Truly, wow.
Yes.
I was taking notes. And I think that one of the number one things that stood out to me is the 5 levels of stress, but also how they affect our overall well-being. I think a lot of us since the pandemic have been a frog in a pot of boiling water, trying to figure out why we don't feel the same. And the fact of the matter is that I really believe like having these supplements in my body the last 18 months has really changed that. Fun fact, I have struggled with anxiety in the past and stress and things like that, as a lot of us may have. But it's interesting that when I take like the multivitamin, the Vitality, that that improves. It's interesting now with Visage how different I feel. It's like somebody like calmed me, and I'm like more present since I've been on the Visage, and that's only been like what, maybe a month and a half, 2 months. So I mean, it's just phenomenal. And so to hear your story as well, working out again, thinking more about your food, being happier like in public and putting out and knowing that you're emitting a different energy around people is huge. Yeah. And honestly, all of that information was amazing. Thank you so much.
I hope it was helpful. I
Oh,
just hope it was really helpful. It's just
it was wildly helpful. It's wildly helpful. I'm like excited to hear these testimonials that we have about the products too, because I know we have some incredible testimonials like ours. So thank you. Yeah, so let's hear these testimonials, Dr. Val. First and foremost, we're going to have Beata Lewis. She is an attorney, but shifted gears. Nearly 30 years now, she has been a solopreneur working as a mediator and as an executive leadership coach, and she is joining us all the way from Santa Fe, New Mexico. Hello, Beata. How are you?
I'm so well, and thank you very much, Adrainne, for inviting me to be on this call. And Dr. Val, once again, out of the park. So thank you very much. So to everyone listening, my question for you is, the feeling when after a really good massage or facial, you're on the table or you're in a chair and you can feel that your habituated patterns of tension and stress and holding have relaxed. They've softened a little, or maybe a lot. Maybe they didn't go away entirely, but it's much better and you feel better. It's like it's easier to breathe and be a better you. Have you ever wondered how you could bottle that, use it legally every day while improving your faculties and how you look and feel? Yes,
Yes.
that's what we have. That's what we have, and it's in a bottle. And, I have two things to share. One is from my own direct experience, simply with my face. I've been using the Visage since late August, so it's been about 3 weeks. And what I'm finding is I'm just discovering different things to look for. So I saw a series of photos, before and after photos that somebody shared. I was like, oh, I could look for that. And lo and behold, my gooseneck is disappearing. And so I just didn't even know to look. So anyone who's over the age of 50 knows about the appearance of a bloody gooseneck. We hate them. And so you can't exercise it off. So this is a really great thing. Our Visage does everything that a very high-end serum is supposed to do, and that very few serums at all that you can buy for any amount of money do. But the thing that ours does that is so different is when you take it at night, you might sleep better. I've been sleeping better. You might in the daytime feel like once you've got it on, it's just like, oh, I can face the day in a different state of being. And what I've noticed is I have a deep furrow here and I've had a brow that kind of flew, and it's just slowly been softening and relaxing. Like my face is becoming fresher from the sense of not these holding patterns of many decades of just how we put on our tight game face. The best game face is the one that's relaxed and open and fresh, and that's what this helps with. So I love that. And then the second thing that I have is related to someone very dear to me, my mother, who has had an inflamed back, red, itchy, irritated, and nothing touched it for over a year. And I listened to Dr. Dan share about how our Visage repairs the skin microbiome. Aha. And also improves the skin-brain connection. Aha, that's nerves and neurites. So I thought, what happens? So I went to my mom, washed her back, took a picture, and put on the serum. On the first day, 11 minutes later, I took another picture. It was half as red.
Wow.
Half as red in 11 minutes. And there was no more itching and irritation. She could just finally, her shoulders went down and she could breathe. This was amazing. I went back the second day and washed the back, took a picture, put on the serum. 5 minutes later, I have timestamps for these. 5 minutes later, she had a back that was normal flesh tone, no irritation, no redness. This hadn't happened in over a year. And so I'm just here to say there are some off-road ways to use this stuff that are pretty darn incredible. And so my final thing that I want to just say is aging is a privilege. I'm not anti-aging. None of us really are. We're pro-aging at 3. I choose to be as healthy and vibrant and engaged in life as possible while I'm here. All of us, right? That's what 3 is all about. Aging is a privilege. We all want aging to be less of a pain and more of a pleasure. Being part of 3 is also a true privilege, because that's who we are and what we do. We help people globally be healthier and happier while we all age more gracefully and hopefully with less stress. So that's what I wanted to share. And thank you.
No, thank you. That was beautiful. Dr. Bao, what do you think about that?
I've known Beata for 12, 15 years, something like that.
Something like
And
that.
I know that you have always been dealing with the redness in your face. And I'm so touched and my heart is so warm because I know that you've tried a whole lot. And I know when Visage came, I personally got excited about the skin-brain connection, but we weren't thinking about your redness in your face at all. So I'm very, very happy for you. Very happy.
Thank you so much. Now I'm blushing, but it's normally
I know, I tell you have the redness, it comes very easily. It'll be gone. That's the one thing. It's not going to stay.
That's right.
Well, I mean, yeah, and your mom's back. I mean, that really
yeah.
touched me. I think I got chills because we all know that, it's hard to deal with things like that. Skin conditions, they can cause so much pain and so much humiliation in a lot of ways too, acne being one of them, having what she had on her back and the inflamed states. And so the fact that that's changed that, I mean, I think you just really inspired a lot of people to go home and use this on other parts of their skin, not just their face. So beautiful. And I love this that you're talking about this. I know, right? So beautiful. So thank you so much, Beata. I'm happy to have had you on with us tonight.
Thank you.
Okay, next up, we have another doctor who's going to be sharing her experience with 3 as well. Her name is Dr. Caroline Hong. She's coming to us from all the way on Thursday in Australia. She's a health and wellness expert with 40 years of background in the healthcare business. She is a clinician, a dental surgeon, and she was trained in Australia, and she has also pioneered and trailblazed many roles, including being the first woman CEO of the largest dental association in Australia. So amazing. She also was a CEO of a medical ultrasound business as well. And my goodness, so we're thrilled to have you on here. So many incredible people on with us tonight, and you are one of them. And we love your smile already. Tell us a little bit about what happened to you when you started 3.
Oh, thank you, Adrainne, and thank you. I love listening to you, Adrainne, from following you for years. And Dr. Yeager, I love listening to you about the mental health and the 5 states and 5 stress levels. And Beata, your story is beautiful. So hello, everybody. My name is Dr. Caroline Hong, and I hope that my story today on wellness and sharing my wellness journey will resonate with some of you in the audience. So I've been using the full range 6 nutritional products for over 18 months. And only 4 weeks ago, this landed in Australia. I think I'm the first to use Visage. I couldn't wait any longer. So exactly today, I've been using it for 28 days. I can't wait to tell you the transformation. But how 3 supplement products have transformed my life and my husband's lives have been predominantly a number in all aspects of health. But for me, predominantly, it has been my gut health issue. I have to confess, I suffered in silence. It's not something that you talk about in social circles or even amongst business, your friends in business meetings, etc. So I actually suffered in silence. I say often that more than 10 years. When I look back at my symptoms, knowing what I know now, I suffered probably for over 20 years. And I had poor gut health, all the symptoms, bloatiness, pain, constipation, not eating well. And it's, I think, all attributed by the long hours of work. I love my job more than I love myself. I didn't actually pay a lot of attention on myself. I was a martyr. I survived on 4 hours of sleep. I worked up to 100 hours a week most times. I got even the reputation of, if you want something done, you go to Caroline. And that wasn't a good reputation to have. So I end up with solving everybody's problems and thinking that, and more people praise me. And therefore, I just got worse and worse and suffered in silence. And remember, I had a huge network of medical professionals. So I did go to my professional colleagues for help, but it was mostly reactive sickness approach, investigative, and also on drugs or a Band-Aid approach. So I never really got lasting relief, but everything changed and it stayed changed for better when I started using the 3 international supplements. So I use all the 6 products. They have become my staple. So I use the Vitality, for my gut health, which we all know that it's the probiotics is amazing. I was using probiotics, but I really was using the wrong kind of probiotics. And actually, I was using all kinds of supplements, a lot of supplements, but they were all the wrong kind. They don't absorb, and they actually had synthetics and fillers that I wasn't even aware of. And so they contributed to me getting worse. And I also used the Immune, which has helped me a lot for my gut health. Also, there's inflammation in my gut, so the Revive has helped me a lot. And then the Purify also purifies, detox my colon, so that helped me a lot. The collagen actually repairs the leaky gut in my body, and the Eternal, of course, with the cellular longevity and regeneration. And recently the Visage. So everything has contributed to my overall well-being. So my gut, I can say with great confidence, is completely healed. None of those symptoms exist anymore, and I've stayed that way. So I'm so grateful. And for anyone listening, if nothing is has been working for you and you've tried all modalities, I would say give it a go. For 30 days, 60 days, 90 days, feel the experience, and then decide for yourself how your body can actually get into a balanced homeostasis and become better. But I'm also highly aware and become more knowledgeable about supplements and diet and all that. I always had interest, but too busy to really go too deeply into it. But we all know, and Dr. Yerga has also highlighted, that there is also our brain health is so important. And the gut-brain connection, there's the gut-heart connection, there's the gut-skin connection. So I find that over the 18 months, I'm experiencing all these positive health benefits in terms of clearer mental focus, and also clearer skin. And also, believe it, only a few months ago, I had my doctor wanted to put me thinking that I would be, because of family history, I would be at risk of heart disease. But my cardiologist, when he saw my CT calcium score, it was 0. He said that is like a perfect result for somebody 20, 30, 40 years younger than your age. It's a perfect score. There's no better score. So it's also improved, I believe, my heart health. Wow. It's not only just me that have benefited from these products. My husband particularly, because his sporting injury, he's a surfer, so it has helped enhance his performance, his enjoyment. He's out surfing now, otherwise he'll be here sitting next to me. I just get so excited listening to his stories of how he's catching waves, the barrels, the cutbacks and all that, and lasting longer, not only in his surfing, but in everything that happens in a person's life. So think about that. So thanks to the 3 supplements, he's being able to continue to have quality in his life. But more importantly, the skin. He had a long history of skin cancer, and I hope that this will resonate with some of you worrying about your skin. It's not about his looks. So I put him religiously. I insisted that he was using Eternal already and all the 6 products, but insisted he wasn't using collagen at first, but insisted that he used collagen. And he had 3 episodes of surgery on his face, on his skin, and the scars disappeared very quickly. And he had precancerous lip lesions. He was scheduled to have an operation. This is true story. And the dermatologist was about to zap him and treat the precancerous lesions. But the dermatologist actually withdrew and stepped back and looked at the pictures and said, they're gone. Your lips are not precancerous anymore. So they do reverse his precancerous condition. So I've put him the same day that I started the Visage. I've asked him to please take Visage, and he has felt improvement in his lips. And instead of using lip balm, he's using this. So I suggest that it's not only just the face, put it on your lips as well. So this has improved our life tremendously, added quality to our life. We've made a commitment since we're a senior age married couple that we will place health and our number 1 priority, and we will remain healthy and active for as long as we live to pass 100 years old, and we will continue to share proactive wellness with the world. So thank you. That's my story.
Oh my gosh, there's so much to unpack in there, but I want to say thank you so much for sharing that. Super powerful. Not just your results and your digestion and everything else that you've experienced, but also your husband with the skin as well. So I'm so happy that you guys have Visage. Thank you so much, Dr. Caroline Hong. All right, last but not least, we have an incredible couple out of Virginia, Larnetta Harris Barnes. She is a former executive chef at 10 years at Winchester Medical Center, and her husband, Daniel Barnes, is a former owner, operator, and truck driver of 7 years. And we would love to have you guys on. They've been 3 founders since March. Hello and welcome, Larnetta and Daniel. I'll call you Dan. Sorry. Oh, Daniel or Dan? Okay. Yeah.
I only have a couple of things to say. This is amazing. Thank you, Dr. Valerie, for breaking down what was going on with me, because my kids, let alone, they think I'm crazy because I'm like, oh my God, take your supplements. You take your supplements. You do this, you do that. They're both personal trainers, and my husband's a super athlete. So I'm like going crazy because when it launched, when we was in Utah, I was like, wait, I gotta go buy it. When I bought it, I was like, am I tripping? He videoed us. Me and my team was in Utah, and we were like just so happy. We were so happy. And like the anxiety, of course, you all know, like with the DMO, with the meetings every morning, you guys do, like, we're like doing life together. So we're just like doing so much to make things happen and get our amazing products out to the universe, because we're we're serving. So I love all our products. I'm gonna keep it short. And all I can say is I'm stopped. We're out, but I'm holding them until we release them. Thank you so much. And he thinks he's immortal now because he's taking everything except for the collagen. He's vegan, so he stays away from like the collagen and the Eternal.
Yeah.
Is my thank you for having us. And 3 has changed our lives a lot. I don't want to get emotional because this is a part of me, because I'm a chef and I love people, and just seeing what it does to just my team. And I have a lot of elderly, especially my mom and my aunt, like they suffer from like inflammation. So it's like personal, and my son's with eczema and things like that. I'd be like, you have to do this, you have to do that. And they're like, mom, I know, because you're a trainer, Adrainne. So they're always on the go. So importantly, because it's food, like there's supplements, and I'm like, please take them, please take them. You guys are like trainers as well, and you know what this does to your body. So I'm just so grateful that my attorney, Alan Binger, and Dr. Joanne which is my team, my lead, brought me and introduced me, and Gilbert Anderson was like, "You're gonna be a founder." And I was like, "Oh my God." And he's like, so I'm so grateful just to be a service for everyone that's experiencing or who's on here that gets the experience that we got with these products. Thank you for your time. Respectfully, I love Three. I don't know where I'll be without it. That's all I have to say.
Thank you so much. Now, Daniel, is there anything you'd like to share too?
Just that, these are life-changing supplements. They're really ahead of the game. They're nothing like this that you're going to find anywhere else. The amount of time and energy and love that's packaged in these products is just truly incredible. And you can actually feel that and experience it for yourself. And I just love hearing everybody's testimonies because everyone has a testimony. It's incredible.
Oh, thank you so much, you guys. Dr. Bao, what did you think about all that?
It's feeling. My heart is just so full. And I've been spending 2 decades fighting an industry that has been targeting communities that are barely holding on. And I will continue that fight as long as I can. But to shift out of that lane into this lane where I'm trained as a naturopathic doctor. That's I spent years getting to that place, and God had me working on the policy end, and this has been a way for me to reunite with my naturopathic side. And so that's very emotional for me, and to feel the love that is being shared. And when Daniel was talking about the love that goes into the product, I said that you just nailed it. That's what it is, that you feel the love that goes in. And I come from having had 3 generations above me. I've got 3 myself and 2 other generations below me. There's like 6 or 7 generations. I'd have to count them connected. And the way that we shared our love was through what we did in the kitchen, right? Making these wonderful foods. And I feel that that is something that has happened with these products, that someone with love put their love into these products. So obviously it's more than love, because we've got some incredible ingredients, and there's nothing bad. There's no fillers in there. There's no chemicals in there that should not be in there. Nothing. It's all natural. And I just feel like I'm at home. Thank you.
I do too. I feel like I'm at home too. I wish, I tell Dr. Dan all the time, you're one of my favorite humans, because what he's done and what he's produced is seriously transforming lives. You heard it from Larnetta and Daniel. You heard it from Dr. Caroline Hong. You heard it from Beata Lewis. And that's just, 4 people tonight? Do you know what I'm saying? That's just 4 of us, and us, Dr. Val. I mean, so we really are changing lives. This is a heartfelt project. I always say, you can get 3 into your body, but when you get 3 into your heart, that's when things really start to transform and start to change. And so I heard that from you tonight. I'm so happy that 3's in your heart. It's a part of what you're doing to help other people now. And if we want to have our friends pop on to say a quick goodbye, that would be great. If you guys want to turn your cameras back on. Thank you guys so much. Wait, Larnetta and Daniel, are you there? Turn your camera back on. Yay. Okay, you guys. Thank you guys so much for sharing tonight. It is like the bread and butter of what we do here at 3, is just being able to work together, collaborate, co-create, and really change the world one person at a time. So thank you guys so much for being on. Thank you for the beautiful Wellness Wednesday, Dr. Val, and all the information. And my friends, those of you who are with us, all 131 of us, thank you for staying on. And this will be recorded, and we'll see you guys next Wellness Wednesday. Goodbye.
Thanks for having us.
Bye, everyone. Thank you.
Thank you.